What is up? Thank you for clicking on my video. And if you were the first person here, welcome. Okay, what is my channel about? Easily, it's about my relationship with God or my lack of relationship, guys. I'm starting to have questions. I'm literally starting to question whether or not God exists. And I've decided to take a journey, guys, in an attempt to A, find God, B, maybe establish a relationship, because I really don't have a relationship with God. I feel like all these years that I've gone to Sunday school or gone to church or prayed or, read chapters of the Bibles or other sort of Gnostic or esoteric texts, that I've got questions, guys. I've got questions, and I'm starting to lose faith, and that sucks because the other day the sun was shining, and it was just the most beautiful sunset, and automatically I was like, oh my god, that is beautiful. But there's also a war going on right now, and Putin straight up tripping, and every time I turn on the TV, there's some sort of sex trafficking drama going on, and I'm just starting to wonder, like, is homeboy really real? Like, I'm starting to question. I'm starting to question, guys. And I've always questioned, but I've always just, what, mankind are given free will. God works in mysterious ways. I don't buy it anymore. I literally don't buy it anymore. And I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the Bible, and I'm going to literally read step by step, chapter by chapter, and I'm going to question. I'm going to make notes. I've already started making notes, guys, because I've got questions. The other day, my laptop's just gone off. The other day, I say the other day, it was a couple of months ago, I was watching a documentary, and it was an interview with Nigel DeGrease, the black science guy. Guys, the black guy with the beard. He's like the only black dude in science, that guy. And he made a comment that really got me questioning a few months ago that has kind of led to this journey. And he said, if you believe in God, you have to accept that either God is not all knowing, not all powerful, or not all good. And for the first time in my life, I was like, yeah, dude's right. You can't not accept that. You cannot, what the small chapters that I've read in this book, because I've read like chapters throughout the book. I've never actually read it consistently in like sequential order, which I'm going to do. I can't disagree with that. And I've actually added a fourth one to this one. I'm starting to think that maybe God just doesn't give a flying FUCK anymore, to be honest with you. That is honestly how I feel. Like, I look at the state of the world and I think, I don't really know if God gives an FUCK anymore. And I think, would you? Like, if you created this world, would you? If you're God and Jesus is like, God, Earth's on fire. If you're God, what are you coming back to save? Who would you come back to save? Think about it. Aside of your family members, who are you coming back to save? What are you coming back to save? Is mankind worth saving? I don't even know. I don't know, guys. I honestly think the answer to that question is no. I don't think I'd bother. I think I'd be, if the roof is on fire, let the mother frickers burn. That's honestly how I feel right now. I actually don't blame God. I really don't. But I do believe that if you attempt to establish a relationship, what's the saying? Seek and you shall find, or I don't know. I'm pretty sure it says in here somewhere. Then possibly you might be able to establish a connection with God, but there's that rapper Hopspin who says, God hasn't been talking to me like he was talking to Adam and Eve. And that's literally how I feel. Like, in chapters in this Bible, God is talking to people on a regular basis. Like, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't even know. So anyway, that's basically what this channel is about, is me trying to find and establish a relationship with God. Now, full disclaimer, guys, and I know this might cause a couple of issues, I'm going to admit, I am a gay person. I am a gay woman. Okay? I am. Now, I fully accept that that is somewhat unacceptable in this book. It's not unacceptable in other Gnostic texts I've read, but it's unacceptable in this book. And maybe that's why I don't have a relationship with God. Maybe he's just like, you moving on a different kind of level right now. It's not going to happen. And I fully accept that. But I also don't accept that, because I have heard in the New Testament that Jesus is a little bit more, hence the Team Jesus, guys, he's a little bit more lenient, shall we say, in terms of those who come to God. There is literally, I think, a statement that's, sort of come as you are. And this is how I am, guys. That's just how it is. Now, obviously, if I read through the Bible and I realize that actually, regardless of what it says in the New Testament and how Jesus seems to accept everybody, I'm hellbound because of my sexuality, then I will probably have to consider maybe not being the way I am or finding a more accepting religion. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we get through it, guys. But we're going to work our way through this book. So that's what I'm going to do. For the next 10 minutes, I'm simply going to read from the beginning of this book, and I'm just going to question stuff. We're going to see how we get on. Okay, guys, here we go. We're going to start with Genesis. I'm actually reading from, apologies if the camera's shaking, guys. There's not much I can do about that. There's loads I could do about it. I just haven't got the patience. Holy Bible, New International Version. If there's a version I should be reading rather than this one, you guys let me know. But we're going to read from this version. We're going to start from the beginning, as I said, from Genesis, which, by the way, in other texts that I've read, in other sorts of research I've been doing, Genesis apparently stands for the genes of Isis, which isn't that more Egyptology sort of history? Like, apparently there's a huge connection. Apparently that is just this and this is just that. But you know what? We're going to start from the beginning, guys. We're just going to start from Genesis on this quest for the truth. Okay, so here we go. The beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So there we go. That is my first introduction to God in the Bible. The Spirit of God. So this is not a human form. It's a spirit. This is actually how I believe in God, to be a spirit, an energy, a force, some sort of connective force that works between all of mankind, that lives deep within us. This is my understanding of God. Okay, I don't have an overall understanding of God in the Bible, and that's what I'm trying to ascertain, because I really don't understand the mind or the method of God. And I know people say he works in mysterious ways. Not a fan. So here we go. The Spirit of God. God is a spirit. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And then there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. And it was so. God called the expanse sky, and there was evening, and there was morning the second day. Sorry, guys, I'm not the best reader. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let the dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the expanse of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning on the fourth day. This is all fine. And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky." So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living, moving thing with which the water teems, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful, and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Here's where things just get a little bit sketchy for me. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, He created him, male and female, he created them. Now, in all the previous creations, God's just saying, let there be this, let there be that, let there be this. I get it. But then he says, then God said, let us make man in our image. God is talking to somebody here. He said, let us. This is a group activity. This is more than one, okay? This is before pronouns, guys. Okay, this is when he was he and she was she, and, them is more than one. They is more than one, okay? God said, let us make man in our image. That is us as a group and our as in more than one. This feeds into a story that I heard from some previous Gnostic texts where they talk about the idea that God had created essentially what are sons of gods, like kind of like lesser gods, guys. And it was those gods that created mankind. And the story, and I'm paraphrasing the story, guys, I'll probably find it and do it in another video, but the story goes on to say that these, sons of gods were trying to create human beings on earth in their means because they wanted to be creators like their God was a creator. And they also wanted to have essentially what is a workforce, if you will, on earth for them. And they created human beings, but they couldn't get the human beings to get up, to walk, to talk. There's a similar story in a book called the Lost Book of Anunnaki, I think it's called, or Lost Book of Enki, I think it's called, where they couldn't get mankind to get up, to walk, to talk, to breathe. And essentially, God comes through and breathes the essence of God into the nostrils of mankind. And essentially, he ends up giving mankind life, but also imprints the spirit of God onto mankind. Now, to me, that would make more sense and kind of explain why the world the world is the way that it is. And I'll probably get in that a bit later. I don't want to, come too far off of this. But to me, this isn't God creating mankind. This is a bunch of individuals who think they're God, trying to do God's work here. But we'll get into that. For the moment, we'll just accept that this is God creating mankind in his image. Okay? God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth and subdue it. Well, I tell you, that is a job well done. We have been fruitful, we've increased, and we have subdued the crap out of this world. It's now like, okay, what's the next step? This is a solid gold star here. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Tick box, guys. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. And they will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air and to all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it. I love this quote here, guys. The breath of life in it. I mean, that definitely is like a gift, right? That's somebody giving you a gift of life. And let's be clear, I do believe that the true God has given the gift of life to mankind. I'm just questioning whether or not it's that God, the spirit God, that has actually physically made mankind, or is the ruler of this earth. Like, there's something's quite off. But let me stay on point here, guys. I give every green plant for food, and it was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all of his work. And God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from the work of creating that he had done. And then we jump into Adam and Eve, guys. And am I going to jump into Adam and Eve now? I think I'll wait. I think I've already made this video quite long. I don't really want to make them more than 10 minutes, but I've exceeded that. But there we are, guys. I think my next video will be about Adam and Eve. Now, I just want to make this clear. I am not trying to question the faith if God exists. I truly believe that God exists. Nobody can tell me any different. Even if science came up with, I don't know, said, look, here's the proof. Said this is exactly how the earth was made. This is exactly how mankind was made. And here's the proof for it. It's undoubtable proof. My response to that would simply be, well, God does awesome work. All science is doing is explaining God's work for me. But I don't believe that God made mankind. I just really don't. I do believe he breathed his life into us. I do believe he breathed his essence to us. I think that's why we intrinsically know the difference between wrong and right. Many people say you need religion to know the difference between wrong and right, or to set moral codes. I don't think you do. I think we intrinsically know what is wrong, what is right, how we should and how we shouldn't behave. Otherwise, we wouldn't do things in the dark. We would do them out in the light, and we would be bold-faced about it. Okay, we intrinsically know what is wrong and right, because that is the imprint, that is the essence of God that He's breathed into us. But I just don't believe that God created mankind for us to live in a world like this. I truly believe that if God had created mankind and the world in the way that it says in the Bible, that he would be back here telling us to stop messing up his crap, basically, you know. But anyway, we're going to read through this whole Bible, guys, and we're going to go on this journey. We're going to figure it out. But I'm going to stop here, and in my next video, I'll probably do Adam and Eve. If any of you have got any interpretations that I should be picking up that I haven't picked up, if any of you want to explain to me this, then God said, let us make man in our image and our likeness, and explain to me that is not God talking to many other people or the sons of God talking to people, I'm here for it, guys. All right, I'll see you in the next one.